Right.
Okay, so then again, I always try to pull it back to this idea that AI is going to be breaking through. Okay, whether we're talking about genomic, uh, uh, you know, analysis, whether we're talking about running thousands of experiments simultaneously in simulation, whether we're talking about being able to pull all the data in. This is where I'm really trying to figure out where I mean, I think I'm right, but I'm asking you because you know way more than I do about it, not about everything. I probably know more about something than you do. I just don't know what it is. Oh yeah, plastic water bottles. Anyway,
And bicycles.
so 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 but to me the idea is that because Elon is connected, my partner was different than me. His brain, even though he's older than me, he was like a teenager with computers. His brain was connected to the computer. He could get more out of the computer than anybody I knew when they were first coming out. He had an Apple IIc, 6 months before I did. It took him 6 months to convince me to get one. I mean, but he was already doing things on that were magical. There are people like that. Elon would be one of those kind of people. Now, most computer scientists would also have that kind of capability. But I'm talking about Elon on a completely different level with the greatest tool ever made, the greatest, the greatest um, data collector, analyzer, experimenter, etc., at his command. It would seem like this would be a superpower for the companies that is on a completely different planet already before he gets to Mars.
Um, I think that it's like Magnus Carlsen using chess computers, right? He's not using it day to day for the games, right? And he, there were certain things where um, it gave him certain insights around how to play the king and do some stuff, right? Where it suddenly revealed a flaw, systemic flaw in the thinking of the masters, right?
Right,
Like, think like the master chess players, the grandmasters, right?
right.
They all were not doing that correctly. And so then they learned a lesson from that and then they applied that
Mhm.
to it.
Right.
Um, but it's not like, you know, to have the AIs reveal that we have been thinking about something wrong with data and that kind of stuff, that's very useful. But Elon's already an expert at running companies, making choices and that kind of thing. So what I think he's doing is that he's identifies massive use cases of like not like ask it a question, give me back a slightly better answer after you know 2 minutes, something that could take in a week. Elon can assign problems to 100 brilliant people
Right.
and get back that enhancement, right? So, and the fact that they can then use that and then get the 20% gain that I talked about, that's useful to him. So things are going a bit faster. But he could already offload questions and get bounce back from and interact with very smart people. The
Mhm.
fact that we're now adding an AI helps that, but is not transformational, right? So what is transformational is something that could not be done without AI, right? And that he's already kind of announced it. He's saying we're going to make, insanely good breakthrough video games on that, right? And we're going to have it generate, video and those kind of things.
Right.
So things that um, once it has to be a complete end-to-end perfected solution at scale, like making rapidly okay video games that don't sell is irrelevant. I need to be able to make world-class video games
Right.
that can expand and that would have taken, you know, creating a company of, 1,000 people to compete with the top game companies today. Just like making a new Twitter involved hundreds of people, recoding and doing that kind of stuff, right? So he has to say, what is the end thing? It's not like a small thing. It's a big thing. I'm going to make an entirely new video games. I'm going to get into and dominate a $100 billion industry, right? For AI, it's also, I need to solve coding, right? So coding of video games, but also coding of the software for the car, for the robotaxi, stuff like that. But it's not like a specific problem that is, like robotaxi, that involved years of work, a lot of data, and a non-trivial solution. So it's, that if I can master that, it will. It's not like I think about making a product, search engine that will compete against OpenAI's ChatGPT and Google Search and all this kind of stuff. He doesn't want a bunch of just competitive things. He wants to, how can I leapfrog to something 10x, 100x better that is useful for me as a capability that I know I also need this piece, like robotaxi, like a automated researcher on materials, like an automated coder, right? It has to be a big, complete use case, really challenging. So then these short-term things of like getting better at what can be done in the few minutes is, he still wants that, but it's not something they can say. It's like he has to say, I've identified that mountain as useful to climb, right? I want to climb that mountain. The fact that I can climb up hills up and down faster, whatever, I don't care about hills. I care about very useful mountains of effort, right? So I didn't have to identify a huge valuable target, just like Mars, Mars City,
Oh,
a huge valuable target, fully reusable starship, a huge valuable target,
right.
right?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. I understand you. I see where you're coming from.